Now then, it's gonna have to be a pretty quick video because I've got another video that I want to make today. Right, spinal surgeon. I went to see the spinal surgeon. Hang on, let me just see if I can put you on there. Where's my bloody tobacco? Here it is. Right, so, ow, twat. So I went to see the spinal surgeon, and gets there. Went in. For the first 15 minutes or so, I wrote down everything I was going to tell her in order. For the first 15 minutes or so, I was telling her about the pain levels, this, that and the other, and she didn't seem interested at all. I was getting a bit disheartened. Well, anyway, I said, right, well, I'll come just tell you the next part. And she's like, right, okay, make it quick, sort of thing. And yeah, what the hell, I'll tell you, it's affecting my bladder. And so I started explaining this in detail, and she started listening and paying attention. And she asked if it affected other things, and I'd said yes, that I'd been tested for. This is including chest pain, a couple of other things that I'd been tested for over the last 5-6 years, and they could never find a prognosis. They couldn't find out what the cause was, and it turns out it's all linked. Well, I can't remember exactly how it went and so on and so forth, but what I can take away from it is she knew exactly. I mean, and I'd mentioned it, I believe it's a herniated vertebrae, and I knew it was T7, T8. And she did not turn around and tell me that it wasn't, for a start. She knew exactly what the problem was, and she's basically turned around. I'll get you a couple of other bits as I remember them. You know, my memory's like. So she turned around at the end and she says, right, she says, I want you to see me again in 6 months. Sorry, 6 weeks, and within that time frame I want you to have had a full MRI of your entire spinal cord. So to get to the end point quicker, in case the battery dies, realistically it's going to be longer than 6 weeks, because by the time I went to see the secretary and explained the situation, she was like, oh, no, you can't get one in 6 weeks, blah blah blah, it's going to do this, that and the other. But bottom line of it is, they want to know exactly what's going on with my back. They want to know fucking rapid, and they are going to fix it. There's no two ways about it. They are going to fix it. Now, while I try and remember some of the other bits. Gift from number one Jimmy Pie. It's my lighter, EDC in it proudly. Yeah, now I think I've mentioned before, I quite often get everything going numb all the way down here. Everything from pins and needles, burning sensation, to numb, to the point where you could stick a pin in it and I wouldn't feel it. And of course that's some of the occasions when I can't grind, because if I was to tear a finger off I probably wouldn't know about it. So that's one of the reasons when I can't grind, one of the times when I can't grind. And numbness that comes up here, and she did a lot of the reflex tests, you know, where they tap you with a little hammer, and there's certain parts of my foot and my leg, and there's certain, which is linked to the middle back, and there's certain parts of my arm and my hands which are dead. Not dead because they work, but dead as in there's no reflex. And the odd thing is she said that's not linked to the vertebrae in question. She says, yes, there's definitely a problem with the vertebrae in question. She says, there's no doubt about that at all. But she says the odd thing is with your hands. She says that's to do with your neck region. And she says that the symptoms that you're showing are fairly severe. So that's why I'm having the full spinal MRI, which if you've ever had an MRI, sitting through a full spinal one ain't going to be fun. Anyway, so she asked me if I'd had any previous neck injuries. And I said no, but in hindsight I never thought I have. I fell asleep in the Dolomites, well, I was actually coming back from the Dolomites at Rome Airport. I fell asleep like this with my head right forward for nearly 8-9 hours, woke up and oh my god, stiff neck's not the word for it. Well, it was always sore after that, but never immensely sore. Never like, you know, gotta get this seen to sort of thing. I just dealt with it, and every time I would try and be late and looking up, oh fuck man, it hurt so much. And I just, well anyway, it got to the point where a year and a half later I went to see a sports physiotherapist plus more, and he said, oh, you've dislocated vertebrae in your neck. So crack, puts it back in, instant relief, and I did that 3 times over say 3 months and never had a problem with it again. There you go, I have had a neck injury, so interesting to see how that pans out. I would imagine I'll have had the MRI, what are we now, coming up to May, oh wait, January, February, March, April, coming up to May. I reckon by June, mid-June, towards the end of June, I'll have had the MRI and I'll be back in there. And I will then get to know exactly what is going on. Exactly why I'm getting the numb hands, why my pain levels are so high, why I can't do this, why I can't do that, why the muscles are blah blah blah, and hopefully get a resolve. Now I did also ask her, because I mean she made it very very clear, she didn't actually say it but she made it very very clear, yes you need surgery and yes we are likely going to do it. Now I did mention to her that I'd had a look on the old internet, and the ways for repairing this particular vertebrae are pretty grim. And she's like, well, yes, she says, but we do them on a daily basis, and there's no age thing involved, so I'm not going to get fobbed off for age, like I have done in the past, coincidentally. But I'm not going to get fobbed off with age, because for spinal problems, age doesn't make a difference, apparently. But I did mention that if it was at the front, the herniation was at the front, do they have to go in through the front? And she explained to me how different parts of the spine can be operated on in different ways. And the T7, T8, which is where mine is, which is right between the shoulder blades, well, at the base of the shoulder blades, they can't get to it from the back. Which I knew anyway, but she reiterated, you can't get to it from the back. Because you would have to cut all the muscles, and you would literally have to sever every muscle that works your arms or your shoulders, so they can't do it, so they have to go in through the front. And what they do is they break and remove, well they don't break, they cut a rib out. And I said, well, the thing that scared the shit out of me is this collapse in a lung malarkey. And she said sometimes they don't need to do it, sometimes they do. But what she did say is yes, and this is an interesting way she said it, she says yes, we are likely going to have to move your heart out of the way, or move the heart out. But anyway, she made it quite, you know, she put it towards it that it's a possibility that it's going to happen. So yeah, so that's it. The bad news is yes, I know I'm fucked, but I knew that anyway. And the good news is it looks like they're going to fix it, and it looks like they're going to do it quick, very quick. So I will definitely keep you posted on that, especially once I've had the MRI and gone back for the results. So yeah, so fingers crossed, you never know, I might be fit again. There's another thing as well, as she said with regards to training, because I feel fat and unfit and horrible. And I said there's 2 reasons why I've not been training. The first one is pain. I can't do anything, particularly with my core muscles, I can't do anything to train my core muscles without using or engaging the muscles in my upper back. And no matter what anybody says, there is no physical way of engaging and working your core muscles without moving your arms. Even if you do this, you are still engaging those muscles. It's impossible. So that's one thing. So I need to go back to my GP, which I will do next Wednesday. I've made the appointment. My GP is pretty well sought after because he is good. So I'll go see him next Wednesday, and I'll see if I can't up the Severodol and the Oromorph, so I can at least cover that and try and push a bit harder and train. Because she said for the surgical procedures that's likely to happen, it's she says the stronger your back is, she says the faster you'll recover. But I said the second reason why I'd not been training and not wanting to train is for fear of doing more damage. And again, she said no. She says you won't do any more damage. The herniation is there, or well, she didn't say that as such, but she said the problem is there. you're not going to cause any more damage, because it's your spinal cord, and it's skeletal, so it's well, you're not going to do any more damage. So yeah, so I'm going to have to go get some more Severodol Neuromorph. Hopefully my surgeon gives me it, because he's iffy at the minute about the amount I'm taking as it is. And then I can at least try and start training and try and get back on my rowing machine and just start building the muscle back up. But it's going to be horrendous to do, and of course that is going to affect the time in the workshop again, so it's all but if that's what I'm going to have to do, that's what I'm going to have to do, because the end result is looking like I may well be fixed. Whether I end up with an artificial vertebrae being put in, whether I end up with a fusion, or whether I end up with a cage, and she mentioned all this, whether I end up with a cage fitting, one way or another it looks like I'm going to be fixed. Ow, yes. Anyway, if you're still following me, I've got about 5 minutes left on my camera, I think. I'll show you a couple of things. The attempt, and I've got most of this on video anyway. I've got a lot to edit. Yeah, I'll show you what I've been trying to make at the minute. Yeah, my attempt at annealing, so I can drill. Where's that bloody hawk gone? There's one hawk, there's two hawk. Where's hawk number 3? Oh, there's 3 here. Which one? Ah, yeah. That hole went through no problem. That hole has gone, I would say, just over 1 million and stopped. That one has gone maybe 500,000 and stopped, and that one has gone maybe just over 250,000 stopped. So what's happened is, with this, I've heated this one up and got it fine. I've got it to the point where it's annealed, and then as it's got later, this was the last thing at night, as it's got later, I've not hit it with enough heat. So that's likely, that was the first one I did. So it is likely that the other ones that I've done to test, which I've dumped somewhere and have to find them, should be easy to find by the coloration on the side. But anyway, the other ones are likely to be the same. There we go. You can see where the coloration is. So yeah, so there's a good chance that I'm going to have to heat them up more. So this does work, but it's taken a bit more. So what I'm trying to do at the minute is just very basically fabricate. I say fabricate, it's not really fabrication, is it? It's just fucking hammering some steel. Is fabricate a nozzle to control the heat better. And I managed to do it quite well, but it wouldn't ignite. So I drilled a hole in to try and let air through, and now of course the jet's firing out at the top. So I need to open that end up a bit more, and that's 1.5 mm stainless, so it's fairly tough. So what I'm doing is with this stainless rod, I'm making a taper. I'll cut that off there, and then I'll hammer the taper in, and that should open it out. But I am having some fucking grinder issues. I thought yesterday and the day before, not a flaw, did not falter once, and then today twice in a row, plus another time earlier, it's tripped. So I don't know how much knife making we're going to get done today. I will keep going at it, but I've got to get this sorted first, and I can't do anything else with the rest really. Well, I can start grinding the flats, but I need to finish some first. So I've got to get to the point where I can heat these up better, more concentrated flame, and get the ones that I started doing annealed and the holes drilled out, and then get them finished, and then I know I can then move on to more. So yeah, so that's that. Very quick ugly duckling project. Ta-da! Swing arms painted. I also have some leather for the seat. Thanks to LB Custom Knives. Thanks to Lee, he told me what to get, and I was in Newcastle yesterday, so I went to Le Prevost and got myself some 1.6mm veg tan, which I'll show you in another video. Anyway, I'll go get this uploaded.